I feel like we need to plan this more. Like we're spending
Or we
way
can,
too much time.
it's so funny when we just do conversations, it's so easy. And like, but now they're actually planning. It's like, why are we overthinking this? Like, we're so,
Uh,
okay, I do need a minute to think about this. Let me see. Um,
that's what we didn't want, you guys. This is exactly what we didn't want.
Hashtag
No.
behind the scene.
Yeah.
You are listening to Come As You Are, the podcast. My name is Stephanie, and I'm joined by my two friends, Amanda and Tyler. Together, we are a trio of coaches coming together to explore life's biggest topics. Each episode, we hold true to our name, Come As You Are, by showing up and just hitting record. Whatever we bring to the table that week is what we talk about. No scripts, no planning, just real and raw conversations. Our mission is to create a space where vulnerability and authenticity take center stage. And we believe in the power of deep conversations and soulful connections. So welcome to the show. We are happy that you're here, and we invite you now to just sit back, relax, and enjoy today's conversation.
Action! Yay!
That was so bad.
So what we're here for. This is what we're here for. So welcome everyone. Here we are with another episode of Come As You Are. We are Amanda, Tyler, and my name is Stephanie. And today will be a bit of a different episode because today we thought it would be a good idea to introduce ourselves to all of you. And we have prepared a little bit for this, and we're going to start off with a couple of questions that each of us is going to answer, and we're going to just have a nice conversation around this, and then there will be other things as well. So stay tuned for that. So I will kick us off with the first question, or shall we do our general introductions first? Sorry, I think I skipped that entirely. Let's do it. See, already good. 2 minutes in and already forgot the structure for today. So let's start off.
Good structure here. That's why. That's not what we're about. But this time we're doing it a little different, right?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Amanda, for that. So let's each of us introduce ourselves with a few sentences, who the heck we are all about. Maybe Amanda, you want to start us off?
Sure. So hello, everyone. I am Amanda, and I will pronounce my last name for you all because I get this question all the time. So it's Chatzikonstantinou, and I am a national board certified health and wellness coach that supports teens. Basically, that's the fancy way of saying I really am passionate about, and I'll emphasize the passion because you'll see it throughout all that I do. But I just love supporting young people to find their purpose, to discover who they truly are and live their best life. And I do that through one-on-one coaching, through groups, and helping them just be equipped with the essential life skills, goal setting tools, stress management strategies, like all of the things that we wish we had in school, but unfortunately aren't in enough schools. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. And yeah, I'll let somebody else take the mic.
Hi, everyone. First of all, Amanda, I've never heard you pronounce your last name, so that just blew me away. And I've always wanted to ask, so thank you for sharing. That is insane. Like I will never be able to pronounce that, but that's okay.
It's really not bad. I think, anyways, maybe I'm biased.
Well, hi, everyone. My name is Tyler Hall. I'm from Fort Worth, Texas, and I guess I would call myself a mindset and marketing coach for online entrepreneurs and course creators and coaches, anyone who's trying to build a personal brand, build a personal business. Mainly, I work with other coaches to kind of help them build out their personal brands and really connect deeply with their identity. And that's really what I'm passionate about, is not just getting them to do the marketing work, which is what we all can do and we can all learn, but really getting them to deeply connect with who they are being and how their voice comes out in their brand. So it's a lot of confidence work, it's a lot of mindset work, it's all the not so fun stuff that we don't ever think about when we get into this type of business. But I think it's so foundational for building lasting success. And so this is not quick, easy band-aid solutions. This is like the deep work, the crying work, the healing work that we all need to be our most confident selves. And that's what I'm really passionate about. And I love helping entrepreneurs kind of own their identity, own their uniqueness, and really create a powerful voice for themselves. So I'm so happy to be here. I'm glad that we've created this podcast, and it's been so joyful so far to share this space with y'all.
Okay, then I will go next and last. And I got this tip once that when you don't know how to pronounce something, like your last name, Amanda, like you should just do it very quickly, like very fast. And then people will think like, oh, that's like how it's supposed to be. And you can kind of like, cheat yourself out of it. Can I try it? I want to try it. So I'm here with Tyler Hall and my dear, wonderful friend, Amanda Chatzikonstantinou.
Not bad, not bad. That's pretty good. Usually people have to like repeat it 6 times before they even get close. So that's good.
This is like an amazing drinking game, when you're like, when you've had a little bit of alcohol and you're like, okay, try to pronounce Amanda's name.
I always say, it was a great way to learn the alphabet.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so my name is Stephanie Fellenberg. That last name is a bit easier. I am originally from Germany, born and raised here, and I also currently live near Berlin in a cutesy, tiny, teeny town with my dog, who I love above and beyond anything and everything. And I am a love yourself coach. I mainly work with women who struggle with their body image and have a very complicated relationship with food. And I just help them to create peace, a peace of mind, and a lot of ease around their body and how they eat. And I think that sums up the introduction. What do you guys think?
I think so. Other than the fact that like I love that we're all from different parts of the world, and like as soon as you mentioned stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, I never said where I was from. So if my accent doesn't give it away, I'm from Canada.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Three different countries, 2 different continents, and I think we're all here connected as coaches. Like that is our mission. We all do different types of coaching. We all do all of these wonderful things, but we really came together to really promote this mission and this vision of like, we know what happens when people work with coaches and the good that can come out of that. And like, I think that's really at the heart of this podcast. And so I'll ask the next question because it's around coaching. Do you remember the moment you decided to become a coach? And can you describe it to us?
Oh my goodness. I'll take this one first, I guess. I always worked with young people from even when I was a kid. So naturally coming to coaching, it just made sense for me to work with young people. And I feel like I always struggle to answer this question actually, because I feel like I've been a coach my entire life. I just maybe didn't necessarily call it that, or I didn't know that's what I was doing. And as I started getting more into more formal coaching certifications, I realized that I was doing all these things for a very long time. So I wouldn't necessarily say, there was one moment that really decided it for me, but in terms of working with teens, because I get that question a lot, like, why teens? There's so many coaches for so many other things. Why teens? And for me, really, it was my own journey as a teenager that really inspired that. So I want to say it came then that I really felt like teens need more of this support. And I had to figure it out on my own. And I don't want other young people to have to figure it out on their own. I want them to have the tools from a young age so they can thrive now and in their future. Yeah, that's probably like the moment for me where it led me to working in this space with young people. Like, yeah.
I think that we are all kind of sitting in this boat, right? Of we experienced something at some point in our life, and that inspired us to becoming a coach at some point. For me, I was actually not aware of the world of coaching until, I don't know, I was already like a very much grown up person. I knew about therapy, and it was very frowned upon in my family. It had like, you had to admit like, oh, there's something wrong with you, and you were like cracked and you need like help. And it was there was so much shame for me around like even asking for help. But just like Amanda, I was someone that loved to help others, and not just like on a surface level of like, you know, being in a restaurant and handing someone a cappuccino, but like on a deeper level, working with their soul and their internal world. And at some point, thank God, I found my first coach. And a couple of years later, I had this like, when was the moment you decided to become a coach experience where I was also in some kind of like course to understand, what am I here for? What's my purpose? And the mentor in that course, she all of a sudden asked me that question, like, is what you're doing right now, is that what you want to do in like 6 months or so? Is that an option for you? And I was like, no, I want to get out of my job. I want to do something else, but I just didn't know what it was. And she then asked me this very subtle but profound question of, okay, what do you want instead? And isn't that like such an empowering coaching question that we love to ask our clients? For me, that was the first time someone ever asked me that question in that context. Like, what do you actually want? Focus not on what you not want, but on what you do want. And in that moment, I had this drop. It was like everything was clear. Because in that moment, I remembered my first coaching experience, being a client of the coaching work, and how my coach back then did such an amazing job of helping me with my situation. And the thought that came to mind at that moment was, I want to do what she did back then. And it was very simple. I went on her website. I looked up what kind of like educational paths she took to be that coach. And that was it. That's the history. And then I started to enroll for my first program to become coach. So yeah, very much this like light bulb moment that I treasure to this day. And it's one of the greatest moments I would consider of my somewhat youngish life.
Gosh. It's also beautiful. Like, both of your stories are so beautiful, and mine's just coincidental, I guess. Because like Stephanie, I had no idea what coaching was. Never even knew the word. Like, growing up in Texas, if you hear the word coach, you immediately think like football coach or, you know, some sort of sports coach. And so I was actually living in Chicago at the time, and I really hated my job, very similar to Stephanie's situation. And I got stuck. I was a legal videographer. So I would go in and I would record depositions, and it was a really boring job and I hated it. And I remember getting stuck on a job one time. And so I ended up like the witness didn't show and the attorneys ended up holding us for 2 hours because that's our billable time. And so for those 2 hours, it was just me and a court reporter. And this court reporter happened to be getting her coaching certification. And we spent 2 hours having the most transformative, like, life conversation. And we just talked about life and our viewpoints and beliefs and all of these kind of things. And at the end of it, she goes, "Have you ever thought about becoming a coach?" And again, being the kid from Texas, I was like, "No, I'm not sportsy. I'm not athletic. Like, this is no." And she goes, "No, no, no. I'm not talking like a football coach." She goes like a life coach, or like a health coach or something like that. And I was like, "Oh no, tell me more." And so that's how I got introduced to this path. And it's such a spiritual moment for me because, like, had I not been in that terrible job, sitting in that room with that court reporter, like, I may not have ever gotten here. And so I look at it as like a really, like, spiritual God-given moment. And I researched about coaching. I went down the rabbit hole. I researched all the things, and I finally said yes. And I think the very first week that I was in my first training program, I went, "This is what I'm supposed to do." It was like I was on a journey back then to find the one thing that made my heart sing, and coaching answered that question. And it was just perfect. And so that's how I ended up as a coach. And I just knew that very first week that this was supposed to be my path. And here we are.
I love that for all of us, there's this like coaching it as a passion and our purpose. And that's what, again, that thread that is here that connects the three of us, and actually what brought us together, because we all attended the same coaching certification. So, like, how cool if all of it, like, it's actually, I'm having a bit of a moment because we're talking about the journey to get here, and then now look, we're all here. Like, if all of those things hadn't lined up, we wouldn't be here, and you guys listening wouldn't be here either. Like, mind blown.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, definitely a moment. Okay, well, I want to keep us moving. Let's go on to our next question. So what is your life motto?
I think for me, that's very short and very easy to answer, because it's also what I do as a coach, is to love yourself. I truly believe to the bottom of my being that when you are ever in doubt and you focus on loving yourself, giving yourself grace and compassion, that everything that you need will fall into place. You will find the answers you're looking for, and the doubt will disappear. So yeah, loving yourself has been my journey for so many years now. And this is how I also help the women that I'm working with, though. So I know how powerful it can be when you truly embody that. So yeah, love yourself.
I love that one. That's something that I've worked a lot on myself. But I would say that my life motto is never settle. 2 words, never settle. And I think it's like, this was something at 18 when I started down my personal development journey. Like I just told myself that I was never going to settle in life, and that I was going to find the thing that made my heart sing, and I was going to just go out and build the dream and, like, live the life. And that has been my mantra. And I think my life motto for the last 12 years is to just never settle, and really never underestimate who you are, what you're capable of. Like, it's just that rally cry of confidence. Never settle.
I love it. I love how when you think of life motto, it's like, sounds like it should be so complicated, but all of us actually only have 2 words. Mine's also 2 words.
That's crazy.
Right? Be yourself. And I think it kind of sums up what both of you sort of said, right? That it is that, to me, that authenticity, being genuine, and just that the authenticity, that's really what it's all about. Just being your authentic self and giving ourselves permission to be ourselves, not trying to be somebody else that we see on social media or our friend or our neighbor or even our parents, like not trying to be anybody else but ourselves. And that by being ourselves, we are good enough, we are worthy, and we don't need to pretend to be anybody else other than ourselves.
Oh my God, preach it. Yes. I so felt it, like when Amanda was like starting to talk about her motto, like the fire went on. She was like, yeah, it's go time. I love this. Oh my gosh, yes. I'm gonna move us to our next question, and that is, what is something that usually surprises people when you tell this about yourself?
I feel like I have so many, I feel like I have so many little things, but really, okay, so this is a silly one, but like the one thing that always shocks people is when I tell them that I was a contestant on The Price is Right. Like that is by far like that is one of those like cocktail hour conversation starters when it's like, tell me something interesting about yourself, or like, and like that was one of those like things. I think it was based off of like my life motto of like never settling, was like I flew to California one day and went on The Price is Right. Like it was like a fever dream, all within 24 hours. It was like I flew there, won almost $16,000 playing a game show, flew home, like, and it was like, whoa, like this is weird. But like, that's just one of those silly things. It's like it's a great conversation starter, and I don't know, it's just a fun fact about Tyler.
Yeah, I feel like I know we all usually have very deep conversations. So I'm like, this feels so like surface level, but like it's so fun. Because what I was thinking was, most people think that this is crazy, that I'm allergic to chocolate and to caffeine. And most people are like, how do you live? So I feel like for me, that's probably what it is. Like, and I later have learned more about this and the relationship actually between how like chocolate and caffeine, like coffee, like they're actually in the same species, like they're very similar in the way that they're made. And I didn't realize that. I just noticed that every time I have those things, I do not feel well. I just get really sick. I get really intense migraines. So I realized that I need to stay away from those things. And so I do, but people are always like, oh, what? How is that even possible? So I would say that's mine.
And I just want to say, for everyone who's watching this right now, the reason why Tyler and my jaw has not dropped is because we know this already about Amanda. I think the fact that Amanda cannot eat chocolate, and the fact that, I come from like an emotional eating, binge eating background, is like our lives have been very different. And yet we are here together. I find that so beautiful. Like, yet we are here together, celebrating one another. And yeah, so if you had this like jaw drop moment at home right now of like, what, she cannot eat chocolate, she cannot like drink coffee, who is she, like alien? We had this too, like take comfort in knowing that we also had this like what moment at some point. And something that usually surprises people about me, I'm also trying to think of something that is like a bit more on the lighter side. I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie. I love to ride roller coasters. I could do that all day. Like if this was a job, I would have that job. I'm very much like that. Yeah, it's just like this nice, change of pace. And I don't know, it's something about, all the hormones and chemicals, whatever happens in your body when you ride a roller coaster that are really attractive for me. Yeah.
I don't think I knew that about you, Stephanie, and that kind of actually surprises me because you are so like reserved and quiet and like deep thinker, and like it doesn't like I I just get like a picture of Stephanie being like woo, like on the roller coaster. It brings me a lot of joy. That's cool.
I think for me,
Um,
it's the same kind of thing why I like concerts. It's kind of like an outlet, right? Like you're usually so, like you said, like deep in thought and, more on the serious side of life. And I think it's just a way to like release a lot of like happy hormones and just a way to enjoy fun in a very different and I guess also very extreme way. Yeah.
all right, let's keep going. So in 5 words or less, what is the meaning of life? This one gets a little bit deeper.
I can start. I looked at this question before because I know this is a bit trickier. And for me, it's just one word. It's being. Like we are here to just be. And when we embrace the fact that we are existing, in a body, in a soul, in a heart, when we are going through this human experience of being alive, that this is what we're here for. That's it. We just have to be. There's nothing attached to it. And I find so much peace and serenity in that. We just have to be. Nothing else is expected of us. And yeah, so being is my meaning.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. So I guess mine kind of builds off that one, actually. So for me, I said experience and create meaningful moments. Because it really is all about that. And I love how perfectly it falls into what you're saying, Stephanie, because it's the being in those moments that we're experiencing, right? And as saying meaningful moments, like we can make moments mean absolutely anything. And so who are we being in those moments is really powerful. So we're here for a reason. Like we got the being, we're experiencing and creating meaningful moments, and they just play so beautifully together. So I love how they fit together.
I also love how simple we've made this. Like be, and then, experience meaningful moments, like this idea, like we often overcomplicate life, and we think it's this really big question. And the thing what I was going to say was, which is building off of Stephanie and Amanda's, which is like just be present. Like mine is be present, and this idea of like present moment versus like being stuck thinking about our pasts or fearful about our futures, like just being present in the now. And I think that's that's like the perfect equation. I think we just did it. Like that's the perfect equation. It's like experience meaningful moments in the presence, like in the present.
What?
We did it, y'all.
Like as if we planned that. You see, like we actually didn't. Like we had no idea what anyone else was going to say before this. And even before we even hit record, we were like, this is very different than what we're going to do. Like we're not going to be scripting anything in the future. So this is so different for us to be going through in this way. And even still, and again, the inspiration of us coming to do this podcast was this idea of how everything with us just kind of fits together. We have these really profound conversations, and like now, like all the pieces. And we started before saying like, this is the thread that brings us all together. And now it's like coming full circle. And I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful.
I'm also feeling it right here.
Yeah. It
is
does. It hits right in the heart.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next one, shall we? So what are your hobbies, or what would we find you doing that's not coaching? I feel like we need to emphasize that, because if I were to answer this, I'd be like coaching, 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 and coaching. Like, what else is there to do?
It's a hard question. That's actually a hard question to answer, because Amanda's right. It's like, it's just coaching,
Right,
coaching.
like
That's what I love to do. No, I would have to say I really love concerts. I know that's something me and Stephanie share, and I'm sure Amanda likes music as well. I think we all do. That's a universal. No, I really love going to concerts with my sister. We're like our concert buddies. I like exploring coffee shops. Like, I love going to coffee shops. I don't drink a ton of coffee, even though I am having an iced coffee right now. But I love the vibes of coffee shops. I love like the interior design. So I guess that's one of my hobbies, is like interior design and like architecture. I'm a huge fan of tiny living. Like, I love tiny houses and small spaces. Like, that's a big thing for me. I'm currently painstakingly trying to write a memoir. I don't recommend that for anyone. It's awful. It's the most torturous process ever. So that's something that I'm working on. And I like movies. You know, I have an undergrad degree in filmmaking, and I really do appreciate, you know, cinema arts and Hollywood and documentary filmmaking and all of those kind of things. So yeah, that's just a few of my hobbies. Oh, and I'm a game show junkie. I am a game show junkie. I love game shows. Hence the Price is Right thing earlier, but I absolutely love game shows. Such a pause there. Everybody's like, what do I say now?
we're such coaches. It's like we the pause is where like we have that moment, right? Like, I love it. Well, I can go next. So for me, hobbies would include anything that I can do with my son. He is like my favorite thing in the whole wide world. So we spend a lot of time together and really learning about all the things. But in that world, I guess, with him, and maybe, I don't know if I've necessarily called this a hobby, but it is something that I do a lot, and learning more about the education system and how education came to be, how the school system came to be. I have very unique views, although I share them with others, but I do have a different view on the world of schooling. And so, that would have been a very surprising fact about me. Can we go back a few questions? But I love learning just about how people learn. I love anything to do with like brain science. Oh my gosh. And just reading in general. I love to travel. I love being in nature. I don't know. I feel like I'm having a hard time thinking of things, but there's so many things that I love to do. But coaching is such a big part of it. So I'm trying not to think about coaching. But in that, like, learning new things, I'm always in some kind of personal development program or something like that. I love to learn.
I just really love how we had those bit deeper questions, like, you know, life and we're like so on, like going and talking and so engaged in the conversation. And then we have a somewhat simple question of what's your hobby, right? And we're like, let me think about this.
Oh my God, I
was
love
thinking
that
the
you're
same
reflecting that, Stephanie, because that's hilarious.
It's
I
really
was thinking the same thing.
So here we are, three coaches who are definitely also in club overthinking. Who need to prepare for questions like, what's your hobby? For me, I think I would piggyback off of both Tyler and Amanda. So as Tyler mentioned, I also very much enjoy concerts. And by the way, I have Beyonce coming up. If anyone is a fan, and now you can, when we are recorded this, she just started off the tour. I think it was yesterday. And yeah, I'm going to see her next month. I'm ridiculously excited. I've seen her many times before, and oh my God, this is going to be the event of the year. Other hobbies of mine, I do a lot of yoga at the moment. In general, I love a lot of things that have to do with movement. I enjoy biking or just going into nature for walks. I take my dog for lots of walks and just outings in the nature. I also a lot enjoy reading. I read a lot of books, and they obviously are usually on personal development. So yeah, just like Amanda, I love to learn new things and love to understand why we are wired, the way we are wired as humans, and how much we actually have in common also with other beings like trees and animals. And yeah, I find that super fascinating as well. And I have a knack for plants. I just, in general, enjoy nature, but I feel like I'm also very connected to like trees and plants overall. I don't know if you could call this a hobby, but yeah, I do think about a lot, like how trees are feeling and stuff like this. So yeah, I'd say this goes in the hobby column as well. And I am a dancer for many, many years. I'm actually taking a break from this right now because I have an injury, but in general, you would find me also in front of my mirrors here at home doing workouts or classes or anything like this. And I mentioned before already, I love roller coasters, so I go to amusement parks also. Not as often, it's not like a regular thing I do every week, but once in a while. So yeah, that's also a hobby of mine. So I'd say I'd stop here with the list. And with that, I think we would be moving on to our next section that we thought of, which is actually where we thought it would be a cool idea to describe each other in, what did we say? Just 3 words, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then I would actually start by describing Tyler. I picked Tyler, yay. And this is also something that I thought of before, but actually it was very easy for me. There were about 600 words that came to mind, and I had to narrow it down to 3. Being the indecisive person that I am, that was a very hard task. But when I think of Tyler, the 3 words that came to mind for me was that he's a very kind-hearted person and joyful and curious. And Tyler, the reason why I chose those words for you is, first of all, when you speak, you always have, like, you are carrying, is that a saying in English? Like, you are carrying your heart on your tongue. Do you guys say this in English also? I'm not sure. But it's kind of like, whatever.
Say wearing our hearts on our sleeve.
Yeah, maybe that's the saying. in German, like in German, you would literally say like you carry your heart on your tongue, meaning that you are a very heart-centered person, and whatever is on your heart, you speak that, right? And you always do it in such an eloquent and wonderful way. I mean, it's always such a joy to listen to you talk about anything. Like you could talk about the weather, and I would just enjoy it so much. And you're very joyful, and I hope our audience has noticed this by now. Tyler is so much fun, and it's just a joy to have you around. And I guess this comes with being a coach. You're a very curious person. You always ask freaking awesome question that blow my mind. and you never, it's kind of like perfect, and it goes so well with your life motto of never settling, right? Like never settling. I think what comes with that is that you always asking like, why is that? Or how come? And you're just always wanting to dig for more answers, for deeper answers. So I guess curiosity sums you up as well. And that's me on Tyler. Maybe Tyler, you wanna?
Well, I'm like very touched. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate all of those words. I'm feeling all of the warm feelings. So I have Amanda, and Amanda, you are so like the first phrase that came to mind when I thought of Amanda was mission driven. She has, I think, out of all of us, she has always been the one that knows exactly what she wants. She has such a clear mission that every child, every teen will have a coach someday in the world. And I just think that is so incredible, like how mission driven you are. The second word that kind of came from that was focused. Like I think every time I talk to you, it's like every plan, every idea, every conversation is so focused, and it's so like it's so aimed. I was looking for another word for focused. It's so aimed at helping you achieve your mission. And then I would say the last word to describe Amanda is kind. Like kind in the sense that you hold space for teens. You hold space for these kids who need that type of space and need that type of support. And it really does take a kind and caring heart to do that type of work. And so you're like very focused, you're very mission driven, but I think that you just operate from a place of kindness.
Oh my gosh, you guys, when we said we were going to do this, I was like, oh, this is such a cool, like, this is so fun. But now I'm like feeling like all of the feels, like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Like, wow. And I love that you mentioned kind, because that's one of my top values. That's something that I really lead with, and I really think is one of the most important things. And that if you asked my son if there is something that I ask him this sometimes, I'm like, what is like the top 5 things mommy says all the time? And like, be kind is always one of them. So I'm glad that that shines through in other places too, because that is so important to me. You guys.
This is like, so this is healing. This is everyone should do this to someone that they love. Like seriously, anybody who's listening to this right now, go to a loved one and share 3 things that describe them, because y'all have to feel this. This is amazing.
Yeah, so let's shower Stephanie now, and I'll take that. So
Don't make me cry, please.
I hope that I do
so
in the best way possible. Well, I would say when I was thinking about this, I thought the 3 things were inspiring, sincere, and a storyteller. I feel like all of those things together, like, first of all, Stephanie always has the best way to tell a story, like, and in such an inspiring way, but how the words just effortlessly like flow from her. I don't know where they come from or how they come in that way, but they just do. And this is where I got to sincere, because it's not like, I mean, anybody could tell a story, right? And we could like, but all the things that she shares, it's always so sincere and from the heart. And I always feel so inspired really, and this is, I get why I picked inspired by her and the things that she shares. It's, oh, I just, guys.
I said, don't make me cry. Oh my gosh, like I'm receiving this so much. And even before you started, I was like telling myself I'm ready to receive, because how hard is it these days to just take a compliment and not say, yeah, but, right? So I'm just like, thank you. I so appreciate that. And oh my gosh, this for me feels like a warm hug. I know we can't hug, but it feels.
No.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm so receiving all the love. And even when, you know, Tyler, you talked about Amanda, I was like, it wasn't even about me. I wasn't the one giving the grace and the glory or receiving it, but I was like, wow, this is so warm in my heart, you know, just witnessing the energy flowing from one person to the next. It's like, ah, yeah. So everyone who's like seeing this, listening to this, like do this. It's gonna like have your heart grow by like 100, like 100 times bigger. Ah, I feel so good.
Well, what a beautiful way to come to a close for this segment of this episode. We will be back with some rapid fire questions, a little more lighthearted energy after this soulful, loving space. And stay tuned. I don't know why I said stay tuned, because I'm going to cut this, but we'll be back with some rapid fire questions. All right. So to wrap up today's episode, we thought it would be fun to do some like rapid fire questions to get to know each other a little bit more, just have some fun here. And so let's kick it off with some rapid fire questions. So we only have 15 seconds to answer the question, and we're kind of playing a little game here. So this should be fun. All right, let's kick it off.
Yes, awesome. So I will start by asking Tyler some questions, and Amanda, if you would do the honors of giving us notice once the 15 seconds are up. And we would be fun, like each and every one of us is going to do some weird noise at the end of those 50 seconds. We will see what Amanda's noise will be, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe Tyler will be sticking to the time limit. And I would just get started. Amanda, do you have the timer ready?
All right, I'm ready.
Awesome. Okay, Tyler, you're ready?
Tyler has a question before we start.
I did have a question. We didn't talk about this. It's 15 seconds per question, or is it the entire list?
Oh gosh, no, 50 seconds per question.
Okay, thank you. I was like, that's gonna be like crazy. Okay.
Yeah, no world record breaking here. Just 15 seconds per question. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
There we go. Awesome. Okay, Tyler, first question. What is your favorite season and why?
I think fall, because I love all things pumpkin spice, like pumpkin spice. And I love the colors of fall too, and the colder weather.
Awesome. Yummy. Sounds awesome. Second question. What is your favorite place on Earth?
That's a really hard question to answer, because I want to still do a lot of traveling. But as of right now, I think my favorite place is Chicago. I just fell in love with that city when I lived there. I loved walking along the lake. Just a beautiful, beautiful city that I could see myself like retiring in.
Move on.
Next question. Okay. Third question. If you had to be someone else for one day, who would you be and why?
Great question. I would be Taylor Swift for a day, because why not? And I love her so much. And I just think that amount of fame is like insane. And I just couldn't even imagine it. So I'd love to try it out.
That sounds also super awesome. Next question. Where do you find inspiration?
Ooh, I think in nature mostly. like looking at birds and trees and flowers and all the plants. And then in art too, I find a lot of inspiration in like movies and books and all of that good stuff. So I would say those are my two big ones.
Great. Okay. Next one. What is your greatest strength and your greatest weakness?
I would say maybe my greatest strength. Oh, I don't know. Empathy. I like to think I'm a pretty empathetic person, like holding space
We're at
for others.
15 seconds, guys.
What?
15
Next
seconds.
one.
That was it? That was 15 seconds?
Your
That's so
greatest
short.
your greatest weakness will have to wait for another day.
We'll have to wait. Surprise. I don't have any. No.
Great. Next question.
That's so short.
Okay.
Yeah, it is quick.
Okay, just two questions left for you, Tyler. What is the best advice you have ever received?
To just be myself. To just be myself. Yep.
That's beautiful. And last question, what is your favorite smell?
Ooh. Candles. I don't know. Like I love just smelling candles, but like I don't have a particular favorite smell.
Awesome. Okay.
Thumbs up.
That's it.
Done.
Hey, I didn't do too bad, except the greatest strengths and weaknesses. That was a hard one.
I think that is a hard one for 15 seconds. Yeah, absolutely.
The time does fly. Like it
Okay.
gets going really quick.
So Stephanie is up next. So Amanda, are you giving her the questions and I'm timing?
Let's do it. Are you
All
ready,
right.
Stephanie?
I am. Whew. Okay, let's go.
All right. Here we go. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
Ooh, since I'm also an avid traveler, that changes daily. So today I pick somewhere on top of a mountain because it's in nature and I love a good breathe.
Where do you spend most waking hours?
I'd say at my desk working and walking my dog and eating. So in my kitchen or living room. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. I love the sound effects, Tyler. It's amazing. So good. Okay, if I gave you $1,000 and told you that you had to spend it today, what would you buy?
I have to spend it today. Oh, I would get on a plane and just go somewhere for the day. Somewhere where it's not too far. I don't know, enjoy the beach or do some sightseeing somewhere where I haven't been. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess it's a lot easier on your side of the world.
I like
Yes,
being
it is.
Yeah,
It's
right?
much
fun.
So much fun. Okay, next. What do you love most about yourself?
Ooh, it's a great question for a self-love coach, huh? What I love most about myself is my inner spark, my connection to my true self.
Beautiful. I love it. Okay. What is the number one motivator in your life right now?
That I want to make a world a better place. All the women I want to help. My dog, my sister. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
That was 12 seconds. Good job.
I'm trying to like really not get to the 15 seconds.
No fillers, and you just gotta go for it. All right, last two. What is your biggest pet peeve?
It sounds really mundane, but I just had it today. You know when you have a hangnail, when it's like you can't stop thinking about anything else but the dumb thing on your finger that you want to like cut off? Yeah, that's something really frustrating.
That's a biggie. All right, what is your favorite sound?
That's really hard. So lots of music, or I know, the sound of waves when they crash, like ocean waves crashing. That's the best sound.
I like that. Good ones.
I had way too much fun being the buzzer just now. That brought so much joy to my world.
Well, if we ever need a buzzer again, we'll choose Tyler.
I will be the forever buzzer for
Yeah.
the.
If you ever get tired of coaching, I know it's never going to happen, but if you ever need like a nice side job, then that's your calling again.
I'll just be I'll be the buzzer sound. Yes. On a game show. Ooh, that would be fun. I could be the buzzer sound on a game show. That would be like a dream second career. Okay. Well, Amanda, it is your turn. Stephanie, are you ready with the timer?
Yes, I am.
All right. Amanda, what celebrity do you admire and why?
Okay, well, for me, I'm not huge into celebrities, but I'm remembering like my teenage years, and I was obsessed with Alicia Keys. Her lyrics just spoke to me, and I would be that crazy person driving that everyone's staring at because I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. So I would probably say Alicia Keys if I had to pick.
Did you hear my ding ding ding?
Oh man, this is hard. Okay.
All right. Question 2. What makes you smile?
Definitely, this one's an easy one. Spending time with my son. That's one of my favorite things to do in the whole wide world. In this moment, I call him my 8-year-old business partner. When we're watching this, I don't know, but as of right now, he's my 8-year-old business partner.
I love it. I love it. Question, I don't know what question number we're on, but next question. How would you describe your future in 3 words?
Freedom, joy, and impact.
Love it. All right. Next question. What are your top 3 priorities?
Definitely family, and every teen having a coach. That's a huge mission. If anyone knows me, they've probably heard me say that a million times. And taking care of myself, because I think that that's super important, not only for myself, but also to be an example to others.
Love it. Next question. What did life teach you yesterday? Good question.
That small things can have a big impact. So sometimes, the things that we think are really small can actually have a bigger impact.
Love it. All right. Two final questions here. Other than money, what else have you gained from your current job?
Fulfillment of my purpose. I know that I was meant to coach young people, and the more that I get to do that and give those tools to young people that I know that I wish I had, it's just fulfillment and joy.
Stephanie, ding, ding,
ding. Love it.
And we don't stop Amanda talking about her purpose. She's going to talk about this.
I know.
15 seconds is not enough.
This will turn into a 15-minute segment if we don't. Okay. A final question. What is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Mango coconut. I'm literally obsessed with anything mango or coconut. Those are my 2 favorite flavors in the whole wide world. So when you can combine those 2, that's my jam.
Love it. Well, there we have it. That is rapid fire questions with your host. Woo! Actually, we didn't do too bad at that. I'm a talker, and that was challenging for me, as it I'm sure was for y'all.
I think knowing that it was 15 seconds, I kind of in my head tried to think, okay, what's the quickest way that I could say this? Because it's hard. And some of the questions were easier when it's 3 words or stuff like that. I'm like, okay, that's quick. But the other one, sometimes it was hard to actually get the 15 seconds. But we managed. We did it.
Yeah. Yes. Wonderful. Well, I think that concludes our episode. So I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you for going on this journey with us. Thank you for watching us struggle with the script today and all of the formal setup that we had today. Don't worry, you'll never have to deal with that again, because we are definitely better in the flow and just having, real conversations in the moment. But we appreciate you. We appreciate you taking the time to get to know us, and we cannot wait to go on this journey with you. We hope you have a fabulous day, and we'll see you next time for another episode. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Come As You Are, the podcast. You can follow the show on Instagram at Kaya the Podcast and on YouTube and Facebook by searching Kaya the Podcast. If you haven't already done so, please help us keep the conversations going by subscribing, rating, reviewing, and sharing this podcast. And be sure to join us next time for another deep conversation.